Well, hello and welcome to episode 31 of the Crystal Clarity Podcast. My name is Sarah Thomas. I am your host for this series of small classes known as the Crystal Clarity Podcast. And I am an acupuncturist and a longtime healer, and I've had a deep dive into Taoism and stone medicine and crystal healing and Chinese medicine, and I've treated thousands and thousands of patients with stones and crystals. So that's why I'm always here to share information and speak with you. And so welcome. And in today's episode 31, I want to share with you a very, straightforward application of stone medicine and crystal healing that I feel like just isn't made that clear. It's not really talked about that much, and it's actually very clear. So I get this question all the time. It's how to work with these golden selenite windows that we have at the Clarity Crystal Shop. And I get asked all the time, and I get comments, this is so wonderful, but how do I use it? And I write there how to use the golden selenite windows, but it's pretty brief. So I wanted to do an episode on how to use these golden selenite windows. I want to tie that in with Faden Quartz and apophyllite and some other crystals to show you a simple application of stone medicine and crystal healing that is about drawing lines of light. And it's a shamanic application of stone medicine. It's an energetic shamanic application. It's a vibrational application, but it comes in handy. So I'm going to show you how to draw these lines of light. I want to talk about 3 or 4 crystals that draw lines of light. And I want to talk to you about like 5 reasons why you would draw lines of light. And that's what our episode is all about today. So this is really good for you if you work with departing souls or souls that are passing on or do any kind of death work. It's really good for you if you work with entity clearing or entity transmutation or just shamanic hygiene or clearing the body. It's going to be good for you if you work with land healing or just like trying to keep your place protected from EMF, electricity lines, anything else of that nature. And even if you're into some like witchery, like drawing of symbols or opening of portals, all of this falls into what I'm going to talk about today about drawing these lines of light. So let's go into this and talk about these stones and make this really clear, hopefully, as much as we can in a broad, general episode about doing this. So when I talk about drawing a line of light, I'm talking about how we do as magicians and wizards and woo and shamans, that aspect of us, and we all have that aspect of us. And that aspect of us is not afraid to work with and speak about the invisible worlds. And I forget who said this, but who was it? It might have been Nikola Tesla. It might have been, you guys can tell me in the comments who said this, but they said the moment that we really embrace the invisible realms will be the moment that we quantum leap in science, that we go thousands of years forward in science when we just allow ourselves to embrace the energetic and the invisible. And I know that Nikola Tesla did say, that everything is energy, frequency, and vibration. And how many times have I said that? How many times have we all said that? I feel like that quote sticks with us so much because it is so powerful and so true, and we feel the truth of that. So working with stones and crystals, we often step into this world where we're not afraid to work with invisible realms. We're not afraid to work with things that we sense and feel, but we may not have exact language for, and that may not be completely measurable by any of the instruments that we have now. And when we allow ourselves to just be in that part of ourselves and step into that, we work with energy and frequency and vibration, and we move energy and frequency and vibration with the creative capacity of our own body and the energetic fields around our body. So a very much simple way to say that is that, one of the things that Mother Earth gave us is the ability to imagine something into existence and even to dream something into existence. She gave us these different ways to create in the image of her. And to imagine something into existence is to visualize. It's the heart of internal alchemy. It's to see something or sense something into being. And even if we don't see it with our physical eyes and physical senses, it is felt all around. And of course, 1% of what is around us and who we are is physically manifest in matter. The other 99% is energy, frequency, and vibration. So when we step into these shamanic or woo applications with stone medicine, we step into using our own energy to affect the energy around us. And drawing lines of light is simply using our focus, our imagination, our visualization ability, our sensing ability to draw a line of light anywhere. It's like drawing a road or a line of light. You know, it's like taking a lightsaber. If you were a Jedi, it's like taking a lightsaber and using your lightsaber to just draw a line of light, and then that light stays in place, right? If you've seen something on like Doctor Strange where he'll go like this and he'll make a big circle with his hand and then he opens a portal, like a big light portal in front of him. So that's kind of essentially drawing a line of light. So it's like we're using our own energy to draw a line of light. And these lines of light can do many different things for us in the energetic realms. So let me actually talk about that first, like reasons why you would draw a line of light, and then I'm going to talk about the stones that do it really well, that you can work with to do this. So one reason to draw a line of light would be to show a departing soul, or even something that has already passed on, like if you see a dead deer on the side of the road, anything that feels like it's like before its death or in its death or right after its death where the imprint is still around. You can draw a line of light to show, you can draw the line of light to the heavenly realms, to a higher vibrational heavenly realm, and let that soul travel that line of light like a road up into the heavenly realm. It's giving that soul a path or a road to take to heaven or to a higher vibrational plane. So that's one reason why you might draw a line of light. It's like it shows a soul where to go. Now, another reason you might draw one, and I just did this weekend, it's so wonderful. I was doing a ceremony, like a ceremony for some people, and one of the processes of beginning the ceremony is to raise the vibration of the space and also protect the space. So I stood up in the middle and I drew a line of light at the intersection of the walls and the ceiling all around the space. So I'm seeing this really bright light. It almost looks like a laser. It looks very coherent. It looks very bright, like the sun. If I looked into the center of it, it would be too bright. And I just draw that line of light right at the intersection between the ceiling and the walls. And I go around the whole perimeter of the room, drawing that line of light between the ceiling and the walls. Now, that light stays there. It's meant to be like this burning, beautiful white light that raises the vibration of the space and then also clearly marks the boundary of the space and says, this space is only for beings of 100% love, light, and truth. I claim this space in love and light. So it raises and amplifies the space, and it also creates a protective boundary. So we know exactly the space that we're working in. So that's another reason you might draw a line of light. Just an example. Now, you could do that around the property lines of your home too. And another reason you might draw a line of light is some people, especially in, some pagan or some like witch traditions, and also in the past, you would draw a symbol with a line of light. So you'd actually draw the symbol there, and these symbols would do all kinds of different things depending on the symbol, or you could draw the symbol on the ground with a line of light. And one of the things that these symbols may do is be a portal. It's just one of the things they may do, but you can also use lines of light to open a portal, to create a gateway or a doorway between one place or another. So that can be in the form of a symbol, or it can be in the form of like you just draw a circle with a line of light that is meant to be a portal or an opening. So maybe you feel you're working with somebody and you feel a really healthy, well ancestor spirit kind of knocking at the door to help them. And you might draw a circle of line of light to open as a gateway for them to come in. Okay? That's just an example too. But symbols and portals. Another example is to draw out an entity or an attachment. So you could draw a line of light to help an entity find its way back to heaven, or find its way back to love, or find its way back to compassion. You can draw this line of light that gives this entity this choice road to go back to the light. And that is something that we do with these golden selenite windows that I was talking about, and I wanted to do this episode about to clarify one of the things that we do those for is because the gold energy in those is really beautiful, and it's really exacting to, if you feel like there's an entity or some kind of attachment, something that you just want to like give it a way, a road or a way to go back home or to be drawn off. You want to draw that up to the light of heaven, so it has a way to go home. You want to kind of like bless it on its way back. So you draw this line of golden light out from the line inside the golden selenite window. There's a golden line inside many of those beautiful pieces of selenite. They're from the area around Utah in the United States. There's a line inside them, and you use that line projected from the mineral to draw that line or road or golden roadway, back to the light. You might also even draw that line to the center of the earth, so the entity can be composted to the center of the earth. And there's so many different adaptations. There's so many different ways that people working in the energetic realms do all of these techniques. And so there's so many specifics, and none of what I'm saying is right or wrong. It's just I want to give you all of these examples. So we use the golden selenite windows a lot for entities and to draw that golden line for them to travel back to heaven with a blessing or to the center of the earth with a blessing to compost, because that gold energy is so powerful, and selenite is so good for creating that road for, the transmutation of density or dampness or something that's been lingering or holding on. Now, another example is if you were doing some kind of land healing, like if you were like, okay, there's an electricity pole by my home. I feel a lot of kind of chaotic electrical energy, like dirty electricity coming off that. You could use drawing a line of light to kind of ask that energy to go off in another way or steer it in another way. It's like creating a river of light for it to go in another way, or just move away from your bedroom or move away from your home or find another way along the land. So that is another reason you might want to move energy. And it's obviously not just for an electricity pole. It can be for anything that you want to do to help your land or your yard or your space. And I think of it as like drawing that line of light. In these cases, I almost think of it like a river across the land of light. And I can use these stones to point and project that creation that I'm creating, co-creating with the stone and the earth and everybody. I use the stone and what projects from the stone to create that river of light if I'm working with land. And I just want to kind of, sometimes you just want to gently move something away or gently redirect something. So those are some examples of how or why you might draw a line of light. And let yourself, have dreams about this and get creative about it. Let more come to you about this. And here are some stones that these are the stones that we predominantly do this with. And when you get one of these stones, I want you to think about practicing with one of these stones to do this. So the golden selenite windows, and I don't know if anybody else calls them golden selenite windows, but they're transparent slabs of selenite with golden lines in them. So we call them windows because they open these portals and it looks like a window when you're looking through them. And then you use the lines, the golden lines in the selenite to project a golden line further out, right? From that, it's almost like a laser. I should have already said, it's exactly like a laser. It's like your golden selenite line is projecting a golden laser, and that becomes the road. Now, another stone that is used for this a lot is the Faden Quartz. Faden is the German word for thread. And inside of Faden Quartz, it always looks like there's this white thread of bright white thread going through the quartz. We also have these at the Clarity Crystal Shop. Just if you want to look and see them, there's a Faden Quartz is defined by this white thread, this thick thread, and then the crystal growth is kind of growing off this thread. So there's always this bright white line inside of Faden Quartz. And so people do all of these things with Faden Quartz, everything that I just mentioned. You can, even do like if you feel some kind of energy in the body with yourself or somebody that you're working with, and you're like, I just need to redirect that meridian around the scar tissue or repair this place where this person got a piercing and now the energy's not moving, or do a little specific surgery, like inside, the heart chakra or something, a Faden quartz with that line of light coming from that can be for specific, almost just like a laser light, specific creation or movement with the line of light inside the body. And it can be great for subtle work of moving energy inside the body or unwinding something or pulling something out. Think of the line of light projected from the Faden quartz like a road. It's very much about clarity or telling something where to go, right? It's about directing something. The reason why crystals are meant to do this, it's like we don't always go around putting like a plant up in the air, drawing these lines of light. We often do this with crystals because crystals are so good at sensing invisible energy. They're so sensitive. They feel these extremely weak fields, we call them, which just means something that's a very subtle energetic field. They're really good at feeling that, and then they can conduct that energy. They can direct that energy. They can amplify that energy. And it's really the power of the crystal to feel that field, conduct it, and cohere it in a lot of times too. So it's exactly kind of what crystals are supposed to be doing. If you just think of the wiring in your house, it's exactly what the copper wiring and silver wiring and all the reason we make wiring out of metals is because they conduct energy so well. So that's why crystals for all this. And then another thing that I want to mention is rutilated quartz, which often has these golden threads in them, or a golden rutile. I call them rutils as a joke, almost like noodles. But if you see like a golden line in a rutilated quartz, you could absolutely use that golden line to do this drawing a line of light, drawing a golden line of light. So see if you have any crystals that have like one rutil in them of golden rutilation. And sometimes you might even have like a tourmalinated quartz, like a tourmaline quartz that has like one line of tourmaline going through this quartz, and you might be able to project energy out of that tourmaline too. Working with stones that have white or golden lines in them is really popular because white and golden remind us of higher vibrations. The crown chakra, the white of the crown chakra, the golden color is a very high vibrational color. So that's a lot of times why we use white and golden lines in crystals for this. And another thing that I want to share with you all is I also, over the weekend, drew a line of light with apophyllite. And I just used the tip of the apophyllite. I'm looking around for a piece, but I don't have one here. But the apophyllite doesn't have any specific lines in it, like geological mineral lines in it, but it is such an incredible crystal of light and such a conductor of light. It is so good with the flowing and movement and amplification of light. It has a lot of water in it. It's great to use like this. So you can also just point an apophyllite point or apophyllite crystal, and it works very well for me too to use that. So it's something that you might use to draw any of these lines of light. And that is some of the examples I wanted to give you of drawing these lines of light. And I wanted to ask you if you would not mind subscribing and liking the Crystal Clarity podcast. If you're here, just smash that like button, smash that subscribe button so that I know you're here. But I really wanted to ask you if you would comment on what crystals and stones you use to draw lines of light, or that feel like they have these lines of light or a template for a line of light inside them, because I'm sure there's many more that I didn't say in this episode, and I think that everybody would be interested to hear. If there's something that comes to your mind that's, oh, this is something, I'm going to add one to the comments. This is a pranic wand. It was sitting right here with me, and I'm looking at this. It's a pranic wand. I'm holding it up. If you're just listening, just know it looks like a Marcel Vogel crystal because it's cut and shaped in a way that it becomes one very, very directed, focused point. And all these cuts around the crystal become a very focused point. This is meant to cohere all this energy behind it, and now it coheres into this one laser beam. I mean, this is like a laser beam in a crystal. So if you ever have an opportunity to get a Vogel quartz or this kind of pranic healing wand, we also have these at the Clarity Crystal Shop. These are amazing. They're made from quartz from a magical place in India. But this is another example of something that is so good at drawing these lines of light. And it's not that it necessarily has like a geological light formation going through it. It's the intention behind this cut. It's all created to cohere energy into a very focused point. So that's my contribution to the comments. Anything else that you have, a stone that you used, that you have used before for this, or if there's another application, like if you're like, I actually use this when I see roadkill on the road and I want to I draw a line of light really quick with my being and my energy to help it find home. Let me know if there's any other applications that you do this with, because I think everybody would love to hear that. And the whole purpose of not the whole purpose, but the whole like trick behind it is that focus is something that we continually develop as energetic practitioners. We continually develop our ability to see something or sense something psychically, you know, with all 5 senses becoming our 6th sense, and hold it in place and hold it. You know, we want to be able to hold our psychic vision, our imaginations, and our senses in place. And that's just by thinking, you know, for 3 whole minutes, I'm going to see this road of light. And you just keep your focus on it and keep your focus on it. And we have these amazing templates for creation inside our body. So the more that we can focus on something, the more that it grows and creates. And that's, you know, one of the edges of cultivation for all of us, I think, is like, how long can you focus on this line of light? It's one of the magics behind this. If you're drawing, you know, a line of light for an entity to pass through to heaven, through a golden selenite window, for example, just to be able to hold that in your vision and hold that psychically, hold that sensually for longer and longer every time you do it, you know, you're really kind of literally imprinting the creation with that as a real new encodement. So that's what we do. We focus and we continue practicing focused to open these clear roads or these clear paths or these, you know, clear intentions in creation with these lines of light. So that is how you can think about using a Faden Quartz or a Golden Selenite Window, and good luck and blessings on your journey of drawing these lines of light. Do it with care, do it with love, bless all energies as you direct them, and always think about sending energies that you're moving with a blessing to love. Love is the only true thing. It is the only true thing in this creation. Everything else is an illusion. And so it's just saying to it, you can remember love, you can go back home. So many people have forgotten love. So many beings have forgotten love, and it's part of the journey here. But as long as you're sending them to pure love, everything is like beautiful. You know, it's a beautiful thing for you to practice. It's a beautiful thing for you to be a part of. So, all right, with love, thank you for coming to episode 31. Please share your comments, and I hope that that gives you some insight on how to use some of these crystals for drawing lines of light and what you can do with them. I'll see you in the next episode. Take care.